What's up, guys? This is Mike here with Ninja Trading, and boy, has it been a good week. So this is your week of 6/28 or June 28 of 2021 weekly update. But man, this past week has been an amazing week. So as always, I'll start with covering a little bit of what I talked about last week in the weekly update. Go over a little bit more, macro stuff for swing traders or people that just hold crypto. And then we'll get into a little bit of the nitty gritty, which hasn't changed because we're still in a range. But man, did we have a good week. So this is why it's a good idea to pay attention to the weekly updates. Because look at this. Weekly update from 6/6. If you were inside of the group back then, we were waiting for this drop that we got on Bitcoin. Man, look at that. We have been waiting for this drop for, 3 weeks, and it finally happened. And if you haven't been following or paying attention, where is it? We caught the low. So man, that's this is one of those, if you're prepared, especially if you're prepared for 3 weeks. I personally took the trade with massive position size on 5 different accounts. The best entry being here, and then I took it back, as we were breaking back into 30K. But this is one of those, like, you have a good year in 2 days type of trade. So man, we're just very fortunate, very blessed. But hey, it pays to pay attention to these weekly updates, and sometimes they get boring because we wait for big moves that don't happen for, in this case, like 3 weeks. But when they happen, man, do they pay off. So okay, so enough about that, but let's just recap a little bit, what happened in the week. So last week, the weekly update came a little bit late because of SeaWorld, but I was kind of giving you guys this on Monday. So
yeah, 30.5K and go up, or we do one of these, right? Sweep the lows, grab all the liquidity. And I was saying, I don't have.
So that was, sweeping the lows, grabbing the liquidity around 28K. We were all ready for, these levels. I went on to post another more in detail entry. This was the one exactly right here. And actually, so after that move happened, I posted another video
where we panic, make a low, break the previous low, have a nice bounce, come back, and have a higher low and just take off. Yep.
So, I was saying this was back when we were up here, okay? And, a lot of people were FOMOing in at this point. Not, people in our community, of course, but people were FOMOing in, and I was saying, look, we have, I have reason to believe we'll come down here, form a higher low. Now, I personally didn't catch this trade for 2 reasons. Obviously, when you have a really good, year in a day, you tend to take some time off. And personally, I was hoping for a little bit lower, which doesn't always happen, but we're still in these longs. So, now that it goes up, even though we missed this, we're still in the rest of our position. So it's perfectly fine from down here. Perfectly fine with it. But I was saying we can see one of these, right? Look how eerily similar, right? We had this low, we had this range, obviously for not as long, but we came down, took the low, took the low of the range, bounced for like 4 days, or 5 days rather. Okay, and then look at this, for 4 days, so almost the same amount of time. We came down, formed a higher low, and the reason why I was saying that would happen is, let me just show you guys this right here. Let's start from here, go up here, right? So look at this, by the way. Look how eerily similar. Okay. Like, I don't usually play into fractals a whole lot like this, but look how eerily similar. We had the drop, higher low, and currently we're taking off. Am I saying we're going to the moon? because we all know how this played out. Not necessarily saying that, but that's why I was saying, you know, it's a good idea to pay attention to these videos. Sometimes I release videos throughout the week because, you know, I noticed these patterns or fractals in the charts. Actually, I'll go ahead and post this in the group right now as we speak, so you guys can get some of that. There we go. Okay, so all I'm saying is it's good to pay attention to these videos. So I just had a lot of caffeine throughout the week, and the one that I would say really to watch is, are we in a bear market? That's a public YouTube video on the channel on Ninja Signals Trading. Let's give it a thumbs up. Look, I don't do the whole like YouTube like, subscribe, and you know, whatever, give it a bell notification, because I don't really do it for money, but this is just to update you guys, right? So here we are. So last week we were right about here on Monday when I gave you guys the update. So remember when I said we were in a range and to trade the range until we break and if we sweep the lows, and not to get emotional, to panic sell, right? I made another update on this. And where is my channel? Look at that, guys. Like, we're still in the range. We deviated a little bit, but we're still in the range, right? And you know, I won't go over too much on the strategies on what to do with your altcoins in your portfolio, but with your altcoins in your Bitcoin holding, if you're in Bitcoin, I would say still hedge when you're up here, or at least you know, the 36.8 level I've been giving inside of the group a whole lot. So those are important areas to pay attention to. But if you're in Bitcoin, I would say to, you know, hedge or take some shorts. For those people that don't really trade and just hold, I would say take some profit still when you're in the 43K range, and this was your reaccumulation area, like I've been preaching every week, right? Sorry about that, needed a little bathroom break. But okay, so anyway, so we've been in this range. You know, for what to do specifically with your altcoins, watch the Are We in a Bear Market? I give you, you know, strategy, but to recap that, long story short, I would be in downside protection on altcoins, and I would definitely, I mean, this is, none of this is financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. This is just what I would do personally, is I would start, especially when we're up here, I would scale out heavily from altcoins into Bitcoin. And let me just show you guys why. Oh, whoops. Okay. This is the Bitcoin dominance chart. If you don't know what this means, if this graph goes up, that means Bitcoin's value compared to all the other altcoins goes up, vice versa, right? So this was coming in towards the end of the to the bear market, to the first insane pump for Bitcoin. So Bitcoin, if you guys remember, when Bitcoin was doing all of this all-time high breakouts, alts could not keep up, and this was the example, right? And then Bitcoin started to go up a little bit more and then go sideways, okay, and then really go sideways around 58 to 60K. That's where the dominance came down. And guess what this was? This was that massive drop, that 50% drop to where we are right now, right? Look at this. Altcoins got crushed compared to Bitcoin. And then Bitcoin started to recover. People thought Bitcoin was, you know, rebounding right away. So Bitcoin dominance came down. And look, now Bitcoin is coming down again. And Bitcoin is outpacing altcoins. So think about this, right? How scary is this for your altcoins? If Bitcoin is dropping, your altcoins drop further. That's not good, right? And if you have altcoins, please do watch this video, because I go through literally every single altcoin. I have not found an altcoin that in a bear market retraces less than 95%. So if you have $10,000 in your altcoin, there's a 99.9% chance that you will lose 95% of that value of your $10,000 by the end of the next bear market. So I'll be very careful with your altcoins, because look, when Bitcoin pumps, And this was the last Bitcoin pump, right? Bitcoin dipped and then Bitcoin pumps. So when Bitcoin pumps, altcoins cannot keep up. Okay, look at this. December to January of 2018. If you guys don't know what this was the beginning of the last bear market, right? So look, Bitcoin goes sideways or is at its peak. Dominance drops. This is alt season right here. And then think about this. Bitcoin went down 84% in the bear market. But Bitcoin dominance went up 107%. That means altcoins went down double of what Bitcoin went down in general. So Bitcoin went down 84%. So just think about that for a second, right? So here's the thing, right? If Bitcoin takes off like it did right here back in December, January when it had its massive pump, or if it goes down in a bear market, Bitcoin does better than all other altcoins, right? And I showed you the evidence that no altcoin, bar none, that has survived more than 4 years for a full bear cycle, no altcoin outpaces Bitcoin, period. If you look at all altcoin to Bitcoin charts, none of them, bar none, keep up with Bitcoin if it has survived a whole bull market, bear market cycles. Now, does that mean you can't make money off of altcoins? Absolutely not, right? Like when this is happening, when altcoin season is happening, you get in, you get out. And then you hedge back into Bitcoin. And then when the next altcoin cycle starts, right? When the next altcoin cycle starts, then you can get in some altcoins. So if Bitcoin does one of these and starts, this is the time to take profits on your altcoins. So that's enough rambling about that. And Bitcoin is pumping again. So I'm just having a really, really good week in trading, and hope you guys are too. And it's just been a blessing, and we're excited. So that's what I would do with, that's what I would do with altcoins. Now, at the end of the day, if you've been watching the weekly updates for the past like a month and a half, the overall macro analysis still has not changed except for one caveat, and I'll go over that, right? Look, I harp on this every single week without failure, and this might annoy the heck out of you guys, but look, we're in a range, and if you're looking for action, this will bore you. But if you're looking to make money, this is the best environment ever, right? So look, every time I've been saying long the bottom of the range, short the top, long the bottom, 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 right? Especially with that swing failure that we've been looking for. And then guess what we're going to do? Hopefully we get 43K short the top, right? So look, if you have altcoins or you're looking to swing trade Bitcoin, this is the time to reaccumulate. This was the time not to get fearful, not to panic sell, to reaccumulate. This is the time to take profits or sell. Maybe not 100%, but at least sell some, take profits, right? This one included. So look, I'm going to say this every single week because I think people get too emotional when we get up here or down here. One of these days, the range will break, right? We've been in a month in. So if you're trading the breakout, you failed once, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times. You failed the breakout 10 times if you just try to break out range. We range trade, so from a swing trade perspective, or just scaling out of altcoins or scaling into altcoins, up here, down here. Look, if you scaled in, you would have succeeded 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times on scaling in, and 1, 2, 3 on the scaling out, right? So maybe we break out of this range tomorrow, but our win-loss ratio is already doing phenomenally in range trading, right? And then look, what if you only are looking for the breakout, look, the breakdown or the break up, and then we do this for another 2 months? I'm not saying we're going to, but is it possible? I think it's possible, right? What if we do this for another 2 months and there's so much opportunity here, even to compound your altcoins, right? Like on Ethereum, if you did this with half your portfolio, you'd have double your Ethereum right now. Just simple strategy over the month. Or you could have just watched your portfolio go down. It's as simple as that. It's your call, right? If you're the people that buy into the hype, and you try to break out trade right here, or you try to break down trade right here, and panic sell, your portfolio isn't doing so hot, right? And it is what it is. And for further proof, I show you guys this every week, but to give you guys the update, we are 260,000 pips with a 97% win ratio. Not nearly as good. I don't think we're going to break last month's 420,000, unless if in the last couple of days we just green candles to the moon and break out of here. Because if you remember, this was the epic breakdown, and most of our pips were from the breakdown, right? But I would say 260,000 pips in a range environment where people say, "Oh, and this one, never forget." Trading out of emotion, right? But I would say in a range environment where people say you can't make money, and we're at 260,000 pips with a very high win rate. I love range trading, right? And then if this breaks out, those pips will go up. So this is why we do so well in bear markets, guys. Like, people dread the bear market, but if you follow our community, I guarantee you we will make more money in the bear market than the bull market, hands down. So I'm actually excited for the bear market. I just don't think it's here yet. But anyways, so I digress. So from a long-term perspective, so the only thing that's changed, so we're still in a range, right? So I'm not saying YOLO 100x long to the moon, but nothing has changed in this range except for I've been saying, if I think we're going to break up out of the range, first we'll see the swing failure, right? And then we have that fractal from back in January. Now, I don't like fractals, but this is like, if this was not a break of the range, the only reason why I'm showing you this fractal, right, is because this is the same market maker psychology where it broke the low of the range right here. Right, so this is the only reason why I was in play. If it was like in the middle of the range, I don't really play into fractals. I mean, I just don't like them a whole lot. But look, I kept saying, if we're going to break up out of this range, I think we need to take all the liquidity first so the market makers can fill all their long or buy orders, right? And I think there's a good chance that we'll come down and have a secondary scare to grab some more liquidity and for a final shakeout, which happened. And then now we're pumping. So am I saying that this is for sure going to happen? No. Oh, and look at that. Look at that. This is right at that $48,000 to $50,000 bull trap that I've been talking about for the past 3 weeks. Coincidence? Maybe. Maybe not. So you heard it here first, right? If we pump up here, I'm definitely going to hedge some shorts, but we're going to be in massive profits. Anyways, I digress. So given that criteria, I would say right now we're more in favor of, probability-wise, we're more in favor of breaking up, right? But at this 36.8 range, we're still going to head short, and those are in the plans. Where is it? This is a big one right here. A lot of confluence right here. So we're definitely going to head short, and then around the 40. I mean, we'll see how it goes as we approach that level, but maybe we'll head short again, and then 50K, right? So again, this is where my bias would be that we might be heading down, is if we grab the liquidity and we do one of two things. Went over this in another video already, but we'll go over again. If we break the top of the range, grab this liquidity, come back down, kind of like what we did here, maybe do a secondary test. This would now give me more of a bias that we could be coming down, right? Because we're grabbing the liquidity down here to fill short orders. If we do the same kind of swing failure around 50K, 40K, 50K, grab all liquidity, because think about how many people would be, and then maybe one of these, right? Think about how many people would be so bullish if we got back up here, right? There would be so many buy orders to fill sell orders. So like if the fractal plays out, and I talked about this more in my weekly updates, I think like 4 weeks ago, a month ago, but once in the previous bull markets, when we go into the next leg of the bull market, it's fast and furious, right? So you'll know, like on a swing failure, it's pretty obvious we attempt and then we come back in, right? But if we just green candles to the heavens, like if one of these happens, it's not too hard to tell, right? If one of these happens, it's not too hard to tell. But if like one of these happens, but in reverse, like if one of these happens, that'll be pretty obvious, right? So I'm saying if this happens and we start coming back down into the range, that's why we're gonna hedge short up there. I would say that's the biggest bull trap, and I would say that's the biggest probability scenario, as that's your biggest sign that if that happens, I would hedge heavily into or convert heavily into Bitcoin from your altcoins, or just get out, right? Not financial advice. If I had a bag of altcoins still, if I had a enormous bag of altcoins still, that's what I would personally be doing. That would be your biggest sign, especially breaking back into this range right here. I would so right now I would still say we're at about an 80% chance that we'll break up. But if we see that or see that coming down, I would say there's a 90% chance that we're going into the crypto abyss. So, which is perfectly fine. We make more money in the bear market, as I mentioned. So, look at that. We're still pumping. So that concludes the section for the, I guess, the macro overview, or for the people with Bitcoin and altcoins. Right now I would look at scaling out the 36.8 range or the 43K range, especially if you don't have to like set your limit orders up here, but if you see this, right, coming back down here, maybe around here, you're saying, maybe it's time, right? Or if we do that at 50K. So I would not, that's the time to do it, right? Not the time where we come back down here. Because think about it, if you sold down here and you see us pumping, that's not a great feeling. And you're probably FOMOing back in higher, which is completely unnecessary, right? So that concludes that segment. We're going into a little bit more of the TA nerd stuff now. So let me just briefly go over. I realized that I haven't always explained what some of these charts mean. So there's a lot of videos in the video module section on what a lot of these mean, right? So, okay. So this is the fractal that I just posted. And then it goes to, actually this pumps past our 6.8K level. So maybe we'll just watch it there. But look at this. The last low was at the 6.6 of the golden pocket, like almost to the dollar. That was another level of influence why we we took the long there. But if you have seen any of my golden pocket videos or my fib pull videos, I guess this is still macro stuff. But the golden pocket is historically a very trappy area, right? This was the golden pocket. On the flip side, if you did a pull here, this was the 61866 area, which why we took so many shorts. This would be the bullish golden pocket. So this further makes the bullish case right here that we could just be on the next leg of the bull market, right? Okay. So volume delta, I'll just go over this. All you need to know is, if you don't know how to read this, don't worry, but the volume delta is very bullish. That's why we're higher than when I posted this. Okay. Same old range. Like, if you think range trading is boring, like I've been harping on this, right? Remember I was like, we can be in this range for like 3 months on end back when we were here. Like, lo and behold, we're back in the range, right? Okay, so naked pivots and naked border control or single prints, right? So these are important because I made a whole pivot video, and single prints is more of like, you can look at them as a support and resistance level. If it gets accepted into the start of this is a single print. I can't type. PS. So if we get accepted into a single print, it's likely to go to the other side, but the top is likely to act as support or resistance, or the same as bottom. But once you're inside the row of single prints, you're likely to come to the other end of it, right? And these naked pivots, they have over a 90% chance of getting hit within 2 weeks. So this was part of the theory on why I thought we were coming down, is because at the time when we're up here, we had a couple of naked pivots. Actually, it'll take too hard to find. We had a couple of naked pivots down here. We had a lot of naked point and controls, and we just had a lot of liquidity, which is why I felt we could be doing the same thing back that we did in January. So that's why these are good to keep on your chart. They're not like a support and resistance level per se to go off of. And again, we're in the TA nerd session, but just know these are very likely to get hit. So this plays into the bias that we could actually pull back to at least 31.7 before completely blasting off. But they're not 100% to get hit, so I wouldn't 100% go off of that. Here's your naked point of controls. A lot of times they act as support and resistance first time they're hit. This is the overall volume profile. Within a balanced range, we're likely to trade within the value areas. But one thing I do want to note is our value area low is at 34 now. It was up at like the high 34s. Now it's in the low 34s. So the whole value area has shifted. The time point of control and the volume point of control do not match up. So what that means is we spent the most time that we spent in this range is at the time point of control, but the most volume is actually at the volume point of control. So the time and the volume do not match up. Something to keep in mind. And here's the higher term time frame levels. I mean, this weekly level has been key. This daily level, literally, we did not close below this daily level. So these are some good higher term time frame levels. The old closes did not change from last week. So the old higher term time frame didn't change from last week. So it's all the same levels. But I feel like these are the strongest ones. But just have a fresh look at. Oh, we actually just closed the day. So we have a new weekly level right here above us. So if we come down, it's only relevant if we come down instead of if we come up. So this is still looking pretty bullish, to be honest. Exo charts does that. It just glitches at the day close. Coming down a little bit. One thing to note, more for the TA nerds, is at the beginning of Asia session, which is 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, Bitcoin doesn't always do this, but it likes to do this to where it goes one direction for like the first, could be 30 minutes, could be an hour or two, and then it completely goes the other direction for the rest of the day. Like, where's a prime example? Like this couple of nights ago, right? So this is the session open. It pumps for 2 hours and then it proceeds to do this. So something to keep in mind. Doesn't always do it, but on weekdays it likes to do it. But a lot of what you look for is the open interest, the longs opening or closing, shorts opening and closing. Open interest, this was a big short squeeze this last leg up. So we did not see a lot of longs open, which is not necessarily good for the bulls. It's not bad because short squeezes can go high, but you really want to see a lot of longs opening or buying volume coming in order to hope for a sustained move or for the move to get acceptance. So we had a massive drop in open interest right here, but the volume delta, let me compare it back here. This is pretty bullish. We're forming some bullish divergences. So the idea on volume delta, very simple. What you want to see is if the volume delta, so this is like net longs and net shorts, right? If you're seeing a lot of net shorts, so you're seeing the volume delta come down, but the price isn't coming down. So look, the volume delta got more negative right here, but the price did not get pushed down nearly as far as like down here, right? Where the volume delta was even higher. So what that's saying is a lot more shorts are trying to open up and people are trying to market short and push the price down, but the market makers are sitting there with limit orders. So the bigger players are sitting there with limit orders, absorbing the orders, and lo and behold, we have like massive bullish divergence right here, and then bam, price popped up. As simple as that. But it's not on a higher term time frame, it's not mega bullish or mega bearish. Actually, if we clear this high and this, yeah, actually we could we could confirm actually massively bullish volume delta divergence. We just need to clear that high and then form a higher low. I haven't formed it yet, but the day just opened. Other than that, so on a lower time frame, the entry that I was really looking for over the weekend was taking out the last row of single prints on this high volume node. It didn't happen, which is okay. After such a great week, you don't want to put up more risk than necessary. This is why I really wasn't trading right here because you know, I have specific trading rules, and I think I'll make more videos on this too. But everyone should do this as well. But I've noticed that when I have a really good couple of weeks or days, couple of really good trades, i.e. right here, i.e. like some of the shorts that I've taken, I tend to follow it up with some bad trades because of emotion, right? Like you feel like you're on top of the world, you feel like you're invincible, and then you know that's why I called this random like long right here. I think that we got out with like negative 200 pips, and then like I remember this distinctly. I called a random long right here. We got out for negative 200 pips when like 30 minutes later I said we're waiting for a long right here. We're waiting for a long right here, so be patient. And then this is why like my rules are if you have a good like if you hit your weekly goals just stop, right? Because I was like, oh, you know, I'm on top of the world, like whatever, right? So I called a random long right here. We got stopped out for 200 pips, and then we caught this for like 1300 pips, which that's following my rules because I was like wait for the trade, right? And then I broke it, and you know, anyways, so I really wanted to see this. I still think there's a chance that we come down here. Maybe not this low, actually at this posturing. So a lot of this is a fresh look for me. We do have a pivot around like 31.7 or a naked pivot. I would like to see that filled and go up, and that would be very bullish. I think if we come down here, if we get a massive swing failure and rebound up, I think that would be bullish. But now if we come down here, I would treat this as a scalp, like 300, 600 pip take profit. And if it doesn't take off, it's probably going to crater. But this, I would say, pay attention to this, right? So there's always instructions like, if we're getting green massive candles to the moon, don't take it. But if we just come up here, reject, this is the next big trade I'm looking for, especially for a hedge, right? Against all the longs. This is a major take profit for longs as well. But this is the bull trap area. So if we go down before we hit the top of the range, this is the big one that I'm looking for, right? And then we still have our okay, 43K shorts. And then somewhere in the, if you go back in our weekly plan, so that 43K short in there is a big one I pay attention to for potential long-term swing short. Huge one. And then these up here around the 50K. So your 51.5 to your 52 is the entire. I actually got to redo this now because we just went lower. But as we approach, I'll probably redo this. But this around this, so this is the last drop around the 50K. If we break out of this range, if we post 43, I'll redo this. But around that 50K is the big bull trap that I've been talking about that you want to pay attention to. But I'll keep an eye on this and I'll keep monitoring it. See if there's any trades that come up. There probably won't be anything tonight, to be honest, because you know, we just had this massive pump. Want to see how this resolves to either pull back for a long or, you know, push up for a short. Right here, this is no trade zone. I mean, let's see. This is definitely a no trade zone right here. And it's okay, we don't always need to be trading. Especially if you're in longs from here, you're just chilling and watching your profits go back up. So what I would say is, this is if I don't post a trade, your time point of control is your next potential area for rejection. So if we stay here for over a day, we get acceptance of area low. The chances of us visiting 36.8K and 40K are drastically increased. But if we do one of these and come right back down, or one of these and come right back down, then we'll see how we do on our retrace. I personally would like a naked point of control. There's a pivot, I think, down here too, right? Yeah, there's a pivot. I would personally like to see this. So if we start, ooh, look at that. Showing you guys some charting live right here. Yeah, this would be a phenomenal. This is It's kind of a bigger buy range because sometimes you just hit the 618, but I would say because you'd want to get in lower down here because you do have this little. I'm going to pause this video, go take a bathroom break, and be right back with these thoughts. Okay, so I would say that unless we get a massive drop, I think we're very likely to get at least a scalpable bounce right here. Couple of reasons, right? This is the end of the, if we pull a local range, or let's just go. Okay, you have a high value node right here. Point of control being right here. You have a daily level right below you. I believe that's an untapped one. Okay. You have your local fib pull golden pocket right here. You have a naked pivot and you have a naked point of control right next to each other. So remember that naked pivots have a very high rate of getting hit. Just this right here. Okay. So, the probabilities of it coming down here within the next 2 weeks are, pretty high. So a lot of times what the market does is it likes to just take out the naked pivots before the next move. So yeah, I like this trade. Okay. Hopefully, if you guys are taking trades, you know what all this means, but the green box is my average entry zone. So if you're laddering orders, you can just ladder, orders within the green box. This is like where my optimal entry is, the end of this, and then this is where the stop loss is, below the daily, right? So if you're setting laddered orders, set them throughout the green box. If you just want to set one order, just set this right here, but you might miss part of the trade. Put your stop loss right here. Or if you're setting an alert, which I always recommend if you could do, set an alert, and if you're market entering, then just look for a reaction anywhere in this green box and just enter. So you guys got a nice little insight into some live charting. But okay, so this is what I do when I look for trades. So you have confluence right here. What that means is there's multiple levels of support. You have a naked point of control, you have a pivot, you have your golden pocket, and you have your daily right below, right? And then there's a reason to come down there because I said the pivots like to get tagged, right? Here we go. So that's my reasoning when I come down here. So this should be, I would say there is at least an 80% chance that this produces about a 300 pip bounce, at least from the 618, right? So you can have a winning trade, stop loss to entry, or what you can do is take profit 1 on the initial bounce, secure 300 to 600 pips, and then set your stop loss to, at maximum, your stop loss to where if you get stopped out, you break even. So you have a free trade, essentially. Yeah, definitely like this one. And to the upside for a short, some pro tips on charting. Okay. So do I think it could come down there? No. Oh, also one disclaimer. If we come down here before we hit the 36.8 range. I have that short up here. If we hit the 36 range, 36.8k range, and then come crashing down here, most likely not valid. If we form a new high before coming down here, the golden pocket of the pull is invalid. So something to keep in mind. but it looks like we're getting a rejection. I mean, ooh, there's a lot of shorts coming in. A lot of short interest right here. The price hasn't moved much. So, I don't know. If this continues, we might see it, but if we continue to see shorts come in, but price doesn't move down, this can just get massively squeezed to the heavens. And we're sitting our longs perfectly fine, but that's a reload entry. The next short, below this, yeah, I mean, I would just wait for this, honestly, but the only reason, the only time that I would really take this is definitely do not preset. Like, down here, the last long gave you, it's 50-50 whether I preset it. If we just come straight down from here, I mean, not like crashing down, but if we do not make a new high and just gradually come down, I would say it's 50-50 whether you preset. This I would definitely not preset. What I want to see is a swing failure. So there's some liquidity and stops right above here. Like, you need a wide stop for this. Above these highs. Maybe above these highs at the pivot, right? So, but what I want to see is if it comes up here, and then swing failure this, grab all the liquidity, I would take this on the way down. Or if we just come right above here, I'll make a video on swing failures, but okay, so let me just go over swing failures, right? All it is if we have a level, a local high or local low, or even a macro high or macro low, there's logically a lot of stops above and below, right? Highs and lows. So if you want to grab liquidity, you just literally break those highs or lows, and you grab a bunch of liquidity and you come the other way. So that's a swing failure. So you can even catch this like on the way down into the range. So that would be my condition for taking it. And this would be one of those, like, sometimes I post trades that I'm like, hey, I have my eyes on this, and sometimes I just post a trade like, I mean, it's, don't get me wrong, it's still a good probability, but it's not like a good 70-80% win rate. But I mean, this is the time point of control, so theoretically we could hit this and just plummet. Okay, and I think that's about it, guys. Save layout, make a copy. I think that's it for this week. I mean, I have a feeling it's gonna be another great week. I think that's all I have to say. And oh, okay, I do want to end with this. So I took a lot of positions at this low right here. Sorry, this low right here. But I've been doing this for a long time with a good track record. So if you're learning, I wouldn't do something like that, right? Just take small wins and compound. You don't need to go that heavy into a trade. So that's all, guys. Hey, let's have a phenomenal week. If there's anything I need to update, maybe I'll make a daily update video. Keep an eye on that. But other than that, let's have another great week, guys. Stay blessed.